That night, she saw him again. Chukwudi, her brother, was standing by the door, his eyes lifeless, staring straight into her. "Why, Ada?" he whispered, his voice empty, hollow. Ada's heart raced as cold sweat drenched her skin. 3 months ago, Ada was just an ordinary girl from Omioma, a small village in eastern Nigeria. She lived with her parents and younger brother, Chukwudi, in a modest home. Though they didn't have much, they were a close-knit family. But Ada wanted more. Life in the village had been difficult, and she often envied her friends who had left for the city and came back with flashy cars and expensive clothes. Her desperation to escape poverty led her to Emeka, an old friend who had made it big in Lagos. People whispered that Emeka's wealth wasn't clean, but Ada ignored the rumors. She needed a way out. One afternoon, Emeka invited her for a drink in the village bar. He told her there was a way for her to become rich, richer than she ever imagined. But there is a price, he warned. Ada was ready to do anything. Anything except what he told her next. "You need to sacrifice someone. Blood must flow." At first, she rejected it. But as the days passed and the hunger and frustration grew, her resolve weakened. She couldn't see any other way. She would sacrifice Chukwudi. It wasn't supposed to be like this. The ritual had to be done in secret, and no one was supposed to know. She had prepared everything as instructed. One night, she took Chukwudi into the forest, convincing him they were gathering herbs for their sick mother. He trusted her completely, laughing and joking as they walked deeper into the woods. But when they reached a small clearing, Ada's hands shook. She hesitated. Chukwudi, sensing something was wrong, asked, "Ada, what's going on?" Tears filled her eyes, but her hands had already picked up the knife. Before she could stop herself, she did it. The scream Chukwudi let out would haunt her forever. Ada returned home in a daze. The next morning, she was richer. Money came to her in mysterious ways, bags of cash, gifts from strangers. Everything Emeka promised had come true. But then, the visions began. Chukwudi's ghost appeared every night, staring at her from the corner of the room, his eyes dull and accusing. His whispers grew louder with each passing night. "Why, Ada?" he asked over and over. At first, she tried to ignore it, pretending it was guilt playing tricks on her mind. But soon, she couldn't sleep. She couldn't eat. The money that once brought her joy now disgusted her. One night, she woke to find Chukwudi standing by her bed, his ghostly hand reaching out to her. His voice echoed in her ears, "You will never be free." Ada screamed, but no one heard her. Weeks passed, and the village began to talk. They wondered what happened to Chukwudi. Ada's wealth could not silence the questions. People suspected foul play. They murmured when she passed by, their eyes cold and suspicious. Then one evening, Emeka came to visit. He told her that the only way to stop the haunting was another sacrifice, someone closer to her blood. "It's the only way," he said. "But it must be quick. If you hesitate, you'll suffer more than you can imagine." Ada knew he was talking about her parents. But she couldn't do it again. This time, the guilt was too heavy, too unbearable. She broke down in tears and told Emeka she wanted out. He only smiled, a cruel, dark smile, and left her house without a word. That night, Ada heard Chukwudi's voice louder than ever before. His figure grew clearer, closer, until she felt his cold hand on her shoulder. "I'm waiting," he whispered. And as the village woke the next morning, they found Ada's lifeless body hanging from the tree in the same clearing where she had taken Chukwudi's life. Some say it was her guilt. Others believe Chukwudi's spirit finally took his revenge. But no one ever spoke of the money or the sacrifice again. The price of wealth had been too high. What did you learn from this story?